This anticipated releases will be a smidgen different. If you have seen my previous ones that we do every 3 months, covering the next quarter, you'll notice that this one is a wee bit tinier. A wee bit tinier. That is because there are several things that had to go into our honorable mentions this time, and thus I wanted to just round off the list at 10 books that I am excited because I could actually go pick up and read when they come out. Will we? Probably not, but let's not talk about that. Let's not talk about that. I'm Morgan, if this happens to be your first time here, and hopefully you'll be excited about some of these coming out as well, or at least about the honorable mentions. Honorable mentions are just ones that are coming out that are like the conclusions of a series, the second in a series, but I have not started a series. Thus, I cannot be quite as hyped as you might be. Starting off our list at the 1st of October is Air by Sabaa Tahir. Now, yes, this does take place after about 20 years after her Ember in the Ashes trilogy series, but this is the first of its own duology, so maybe you could start here. Would there be spoilers for the other series? Probably, but I feel like I could still pick it up here. An orphan, an outcast, a prince, and a killer who will bring an empire to its knees. She interweaves the lives of 3 young people as they grapple with power, treachery, love, and devastating consequences of unchecked greed on a journey that may cost them their lives and their hearts, literally. I won't go into too much of the description in case it does do spoilers for the other series. Moving to October 8th, A Dark and Secret Magic by Wallace Kinney. Hecate Goodwin, Kate to her friends, has curated the perfect life as a hedge witch, living in a secluded cottage with only a black cat for company. She spends her days foraging herbs from the Ipswich forest, gardening, and creating tinctures to sell at the apothecary she owns. Most evenings pass without her speaking to another human being, an arrangement she quite prefers. Kate's solitude is thrown into disarray when her older sister Miranda reaches out and asks her to host their coven's annual Halloween gathering. The day marks the beginning of the new year for the witches and is also Kate's birthday. The pressure from her coven to make the evening memorable mounts as the event draws nearer. There is also a hint of some black magic happening, possibly an rivals or enemies to lovers situation. Then on the 22nd is The Fury of the Gods by John Gwynne. It's the final battle for the fate of Vigrid approaches. I think I said that right. This is a world, though, was a world of gods, except there was a battle a long time ago, and they killed all each other off. Their bones are still everywhere, though, and they can make items of magic from their bones, like the collars that they will put around the gods' descendants that turn them into the thralls. This is Norse-inspired, so the mercenary bands, the ship warfare, the battles. Very epic and well done and gritty. And then, on October 29th, we have Blood Over Brighthaven by M.L. Wong. For 20 years, Sionia has devoted every waking moment to the study of magic, fueled by a mad desire to achieve the impossible, to be the first woman ever admitted to the high magistry at the University of Magics and Industry. When she finally passes the qualifying exams and becomes a high mage, she finds that her challenges have just begun. Her new colleagues are determined to make her feel unwelcome and, instead of a qualified lab assistant, they give her a janitor. While working together, though, they uncover an ancient secret that could change the course of magic forever, or get them killed first. The honorable mentions for October. On October 15th is On Vicious Worlds by Bethany Jacobs. This is book 2 in the Kingdom trilogy, which, yes, that is what it's called. I did not just mistype that like I thought the first time. The series is a dangerous cat-and-mouse quest for revenge, an empire that spans star systems built on the bones of genocide, a carefully hidden secret that could collapse worlds, hunted by 3 women with secrets of their own. Then, on October 22nd, is Spectacular by Stephanie Garber. This is an illustrated novella in the Caraval world set after the main trilogy. It says, ultimate holiday adventure full of clockwork boys, poison candy, impish snow globes, merriment, and, if Tella gets her way, love. Rounding off the month on the 29th, we have Throne of Secrets by Carrie Maniscano. 2 rivals torn apart by a dark memory reunite on a deadly hunt in an irresistible, twisted fairy tale in the next steamy standalone fantasy romance. That is part of her Prince of Sin series, though. So it's a series of standalones, I suppose, in the world that she created in the Curse of Sins. Is that the trilogy name? Starting us off for the month is going to be on the 5th, Where the Library Hides by Isabel Ibanez. This is the conclusion to the Secrets of the Nile duology that started with What the River Knows. I finally remembered. Inez Oliveira traveled across the world to Egypt seeking answers into her parents' recent and mysterious deaths, but all her searching led her down a perilous road filled with heartache, betrayal, and dangerous magic that pulled her deep into the past. This is a historical YA romances things. So we have politics, we have archaeology, ancient history, magic, and betrayal, black markets, a lot of things. There was a lot of layers to it. It was quite intriguing. So I'm looking forward to seeing how the duology wraps up. On the 12th, we have The Courting of Bristol Keats by Mary E. Pearson. After losing both their parents, Bristol Keats and her sisters struggle to stay afloat in their small, quaint town of Bowes Keep. When Bristol begins to receive letters from an aunt she's never heard of, who promises she can help, she reluctantly agrees to meet and discovers that everything she thought she knew about her family is a lie. Even her father might still be alive, not killed but kidnapped by terrifying creatures to a whole other realm, the one he's from. So not quite portal fantasy, I don't think, but separate realms, something to do with the Fae Lord and Fae in general. And Bristol will have to make deals and navigate this whole other realm. On the 19th, we have The Songbird and the Heart of Stone by Carissa Broadbent. This is the start to the House of Shadow duology that's still part of the Crown of Nyaxia series. It's just going to be 3 sets of duologies, which is intriguing because each one will take place at a different vampire court, as in this continent there are vampires and humans, and vampires were created by the goddess Nyaxia. There is a whole other pantheon of gods. Misha lost everything when she was forcibly turned into a vampire: her home, her humanity, and most devastatingly of all, the love of the sun god to whom she devoted her life. Asar, the bastard prince of the House of Shadow, was the one to save her, though, and now they must conduct a journey to the underworld to resurrect the god of death himself. So this will be interesting. We're going to be in a different part of the world with maybe different characters. I still have to read the second book in the first duology. Then we have The Half King by Melissa Landers. The great betrayal changed everything for the Allied realm. Long ago, the kingdom's noble houses rose up against the goddess, and for their treachery, the firstborn of each noble family was cursed. One with perilous beauty, one with destructive knowledge, one with insatiable bloodlust. But the royal house of Morata received the worst affliction of all. For while the king exists during the day, he fades into nothingness at night, until his 21st birthday, when he will be lost to the shadows forever. Now an acolyte has arrived at court. Unlike all the second-born children of the Allied realm, she's destined to serve the goddess and become a seer. Oh, like all the second-born children, not what I said earlier where it said unlike. Only Cerise Salon has no gift for foretelling. In fact, she's no magical gift at all. Our honorable mentions for November is a bit larger than October's, so hopefully you find the one you're looking for here. On November 5th, we have Hexed by Emily McIntyre. This is the next one in the Never After series, which is a set of twisted fairy tales. This one is Little Mermaid-ish inspired, I think. He's the prince of La Casa Nostra. She's the witch who steals his heart. Also that same day, we have Revenant-x, which is the second in the Red Space series by David Wellington. The first book was Paradise 1, Earth's first deep space colony. For thousands of people, it was an opportunity for a new life, until it went dark. Revenant-x is the terrifying second novel in a new trilogy of survival and exploration in deep space. It's supposed to have twinges of horror, but I heard it wasn't really horror. And I mean, it already sounded intriguing, so I definitely want to read it. And before seeing this one's name, though, I thought it was a standalone. Moving on to the 12th, we have The Shadows Rule All by Abigail Owen. This is the conclusion to her Dominions trilogy that started with The Liar's Crown. That was it. This electrifying conclusion combines danger, action, and heart-pounding romance wrapped in a gorgeous cover package. That's literally all the description said. And the first book has to do with hidden twin princesses, and something happened to them and their kingdom and their parents. Also on the 12th is The Relentless Legion. This is the conclusion to the Divide series, which is described as The Expanse meets Game of Thrones or The Night's Watch. The Divide is the edge of the universe. Now it's collapsing and taking everyone and everything with it. It is action adventure space opera space story with interesting covers because spaceships look almost Lego-ish. I'm sorry, they do, especially in this last one. I still want to try it though. Then, the conclusion of another trilogy, which is the Burning Kingdoms trilogy, is The Lotus Empire by Tasha Suri. A ruthless princess and a powerful priestess come together to rewrite the fate of an empire. As an ancient magic returns to Arania and threatens its very foundations, Malini and Priestess Priya will stop at nothing to save their kingdoms, even if it means they must destroy each other. On the 19th, we have this sequel. I do believe it's just the sequel, not the conclusion. Serpent Sea by Myra Abraham. Raised to protect her nation from monsters lurking in the sands, 16-year-old Imani must fight to find her brother, whose betrayal is now the country's greatest threat, in this romantic, action-packed fantasy set in an Arabian-inspired land. The first book was Spice Road. That came out last year. The book that I am possibly looking forward to the most this month for sure, and maybe out of all of the 3 months, is coming out on the 6th, which is Wind and Truth by Brandon Sanderson. This is book 5 of the Stormlight Archive and the conclusion of the first arc of Stormlight, which means we might be set for another time jump similar to Mistborn, and I'm not sure how to feel about that yet. Nervous and excited because oh my gosh, we're coming to an end, which is sad, and excited because oh my gosh, what's going to happen? The Stormlight Archive, though, takes place on the world of Roshar within Sanderson's Cosmere universe. This is a planet visited by high storms and desolations of, civilization-ending events, which is what has come again, as the Knights Radiant have been refounded and magic has once again returned in the magic system of this world. You could see my review for the first book to learn about that a little bit. I don't think I actually talked about the magic system at all in that book. Never mind. This series, though, is epic in scope. It has multiple characters through character growth, trauma, emotion, so much world building. My favorite part by far is going to be the world building and the lore weaving in, and the magic system is very, very cool, and the science about it and the arts of it. We will move on. We have other things to talk about. Like on the 6th is A Monsoon Rising by Thea Guanzin. Maybe I said her name right this time. Two hearts are circling each other in the eye of the storm in this follow-up to the Hurricane Wars. Prepare for more enemies to lovers romance, magical adventures, and political schemes in this Southeast Asian-inspired world. Enemies to lovers, kind of, yes. The romance was probably the weirdest part of the book, I guess. Still intrigued enough to try the next book, even if everybody didn't like it because it was a Raylo type of situation. It's whatever. Yes, you could feel the vibes, but I'm still excited to try the next one. That will bring us on into our honorable mentions. On December 3rd, How to Steal a Galaxy by Beth Rivas. This is the second in the Chaotic Orbits novella trilogy. In this, it is described as a sexy heist space story, where our main character salvages something, but she couldn't get it off the planet, and the people who are official people come there and think that she's somebody official, and so she hops a ride with them and enjoys eating their food until she can get away on her own. Next is going to be Blacklight Born. It's the third in the Combat Codes trilogy by Alexander Darwin. In a world long ago ravaged by war, the nations have sworn an armistice never to use weapons of mass destruction again. Instead, highly skilled warriors, known as Griever Knights, represent their nation's interests in hand-to-hand combat. The final book in an action-packed science fiction trilogy set on a far future world where the fate of nations is determined by single combat. Now, these were all published before. They were indie or self-pubbed, and the covers looked sci-fi. With the trad publishing covers, though, they give more fantasy. So, is this a sci fantasy? What does this read like? I have the first one and still haven't read it. Then on the 5th, the ebook is coming out. Maybe the hardback in the UK? I'm not sure why this one has a stuttered, that's not the right word, date. Days of Shattered Faith by Adrian Tchaikovsky. This is the third in the Tyrant Philosophers series. Welcome to Alkaline, jewel of the waters, capital of Uzumai, greatest of the successor states, inheritor to the necromantic dominion that was the Morobandi Empire, and tomorrow's front line of the Palacene's relentless march to bring perfection and correctness to an imperfect world. So in this one, we are in another country that has not been conquered yet and is not even under occupation. They have started sending out, though, their scouts. It says the cohort and invigilator of correct appreciation outreach department. On to December 24th, A Sky of Emerald Stars by A.K. Mulford. This is the second in the Golden Court trilogy. It continues Wolf Shifter Kaller's journey and explores a new story, Sadie's, as kingdoms clash with war on the horizon and pack politics threaten to disrupt what Kala and... Nope, that might be a spoiler. Also the same day, we get Heavenly Tyrant by Jiren J. Zhao. I have heard her pronounce her own name, and I can't. I'm so sorry. Zayton must balance dangerous politics with a new quest for vengeance in the sequel to The Iron Widow. Its Pacific Rim meets Handmaid's Tale in this blend of Chinese history and mecha science fiction for YA readers. Then on the 31st, probably, we have the final book in the Shadows of Tenebrous Court series. The author had previously pushed it back to December so she could have enough time to polish it and give everyone the story that she wanted to and felt that they deserved. This is A Promise of Lies by Claire Sager. So hopefully the book is going to come out. A Kiss of Iron was the first book in the series featuring court intrigue, a morally gray hero, and an unforgettable enemies to lovers romance. Secrets from the past, enemies at court, and dangers from another realm. These have been the 10 books that I am most excited about coming out. I hope maybe you will be excited about some of these too, or some of the honorable mentions are the ones that you're excited for. If you want to find out about more books coming out, you can check out my Monday videos every week. I hope you're finding something great to read today, and I'll see you in the next one.